Yeah, that would probably do for at least a little while, depending on how often you were auditioning and how much you were actually, and the file format you were saving it in.
Yeah, this is true. And you don't necessarily have to save everything that you do.
You could delete them.
Yeah, it's we're not, talking industry standard here. It's just a really smart idea to at least keep the recordings that you make for projects and the auditions that you make for at least a couple weeks or so, just to make sure that you have a copy. If anything happens and they lose it or something like that, you can just say, look, okay, here's your next recording, instead of having to do it all over again and hope you got it exactly the same way as before.
Yeah, I haven't lost audio, but with the whole Hacksaw thing, sometimes I'm going through files because I never set out like a naming scheme for the files, which if I do this again, I will definitely do that just to make it so much easier myself.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm going through and I can just completely miss it because like some people will name theirs like episode wherever the character name and then their name just to keep it organized, but some people have like just the character name, so sometimes I'm like, wait, was that line for this? And then I've got to check this. I'm just a mess, okay?
Yeah. That's some really good advice too, like and a thing that a lot of people don't think about when you're excuse me, doing digital voice acting like this. You don't record onto an SD card and hand it over to your director because, well, look at me and Kat. I'm in the southeastern United States and Kat's in the UK.
I'm Scottish.
I can throw stuff pretty far, but
I'm sure I'll catch it. Just throw it.
Yeah. Just stand outside. It'll get to you in about a week.
Yeah, I'll wait.
But if you have a really organized way of naming your files, the most common way I've found is naming it just like Kat said, the name of the project you're working on _ the episode or identifying marker of the particular lines that you're reading _ your name. That way they know what project it's for, what part of the project it's for, and who it's coming from.
Yeah, that is like one of the more typical ways of naming, but like obviously if you as a voice actor, your director says, hey, can you name your files this way? Make sure you try your best to remember to do it that way, because if they want you to name it a certain way, it's probably because they have a system.
Yeah, work with your director. And if you don't know,
please
ask.
We need you to work with us.
Yeah, and like a lot of people are nervous to ask their project director questions or make suggestions and things like that. It's always possible to use a metaphor, to have too much cake, but there's been multiple times where I've come up to Kat as one of Kat's actors and said, I have an idea for my character, or I think this would be cool if these two characters did it this way, and it would make, that situation more interesting. And if I don't know something, I simply ask.
And give an answer.
And they give an answer.
Or at least I try to.
Right. And if we don't know, we don't know.
Yeah. Also, please, for the love of God, remember that they can see your file names. Because some people, I've saw this happen with, homework to teachers, is, they forget they can see the file name, so they just name it something random, like maybe a lyric from a song they were listening to, or just something, like an inside joke or something. They can see that. Mm-hmm. So don't put anything embarrassing. Please.
Yeah. I've actually done that before.
Oh no.
I have actually done that before. I blooped up on a particular line, and I didn't rename it from the original project. So I had file name and then file name 2. And I ended up sending file name 2 to my project director, and they messaged me back and they said, are you serious? Is this the one you're sending me right now? And at first I'm like, what's the big deal? This is the right... Oh, crap. So we got it all sorted out. We had a good laugh about it. It was just a really funny situation. But yeah, and if you name your files correctly, like I didn't, that won't happen to you.
Yeah. And we're actually at the end of like my pre-planned questions, but just to continue on here, casting directors are your friend. Well, I'm a casting directors, maybe not. Directors and just whoever you're working with, they're not going to get mad at you if you have a question, or if, say you want live direction for your audio. You can ask for that. You might need to wait for them to have an available time, but if you need or want live direction to help get their goal, just ask. If you have a question, I know it might be a little daunting because, especially now, you don't always know the person very well because it's online, but you really need to just ask because communication is key.
Absolutely. And you know, if you do ask a question and the leadership of your team gets snappy with you or refuses to answer your question, then you know, you're the one that's performing here. You chose to audition for the project. You can easily move on to another one.
Yeah.
Like,
it might sound like kind of weird to be like, but you might think, I don't want to move on from a project just because of one person. But if that's a person who's running it and they don't have the respect to treat you with respect, like, I'm sure you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
God, for voice actors, we really cannot talk.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean me. You've been completely fine.
Oh, trust me. Sometimes I'm talking away on my projects and doing good, and then all of a sudden, I'm a voice actor. I talk for a living.
There's some people who like know like 5 languages, and I barely know my own.
And I'm American, so I'm just gonna leave that there. Southern, as a matter of fact. Take that as you will.
Yeah, well, that's all that needs to be said, really. So, we can go ahead and move to the outro. Cody, is there any social media or projects you'd like to mention before we finish off?
Right now I'm getting back into the social media stuff. You can find me on Discord as Wolf141. And I recently got on to Facebook as James Cody Hamblen. You can find me there if you have any questions or just want to link up. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. And the place you'll find me on the most often is the Actors Network. If you see me running around as Commander Cody, just give me a shout and I'll say hi. I'm one of the friendliest people you will ever meet.
Good. I would hope so. But just gonna quickly insert here. For the Discord, your tag, because when you like friend someone, you need their name and their tag is 8159. Just if anyone's gonna go ahead and friend you. And
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot the numbers.
Is there any like projects you're working on? Anything you wanna?
Other than other than your comic dub, of course, keep an eye out for the Actors Network podcast episodes. They are released regularly every other Saturday. And there is one project that I am working on currently. It is not at a stage where I could announce it yet, but it is a live acting Zoom-based sitcom with a bunch of friends of mine, and it's a complete and total riot.
But luckily for you, everyone who's listening to this will hopefully go follow your social media, and you'll be able to update them on that when you're able to announce it. So
absolutely.
Just going to close up here. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of Not an Actor. If you want to find any associated links like the Not an Actor Discord, the podcast page, or even my social media, along with a bunch of acting resources constantly being added to, go to my.bio/notanactor. Thank you and goodbye.